What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Ark Survival Evolved. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we hang out with Wimbledon. He's a gentle sort. We take him to bed with us and we snoodle. Just gotta cuddle him every now and again because he is a little bit insecure about himself. And I say, Wimbledon, you're a big old pig that hangs out in the jungle fighting with giant dinosaurs. You are a lone mammal holding it down for the cause. Why do you need so many cuddles? He's like, well, everybody needs love sometimes. So today, there's no clouds and yet it's raining. That's concerning. It's probably due to the fact I have to play the game on low memory, otherwise I can't get a good frame rate. But either, oh good, you're gonna poop right now. Fantastic for Smash Nasty. You might notice a new member of the Nasty crew over here. So we've got Cash Nasty, we've got Crash Nasty, we've got Blast Nasty, we've got Smash Nasty. I don't know which one's new. I think Blast is the new one. I'm not sure. I got him during one of the streams a couple days ago, and he's pretty good. I'm feeling really, really solid about our offensive capabilities right now. I mean, I always have the ability to offend, but I'm taking it to whole new levels today. What we need to accomplish today, I don't really know. I don't have much planned for this episode. The funny thing about these open world sandbox games is that it takes a considerable amount of consideration in order to properly chart out Baldasaurus flexes on the roof, by the way. I finished that off over there, that little ramp, and so now people can get up onto the roof, they can hang out. I'm enjoying the game in single player. I actually noticed some discussion in the comments about how the game was, people were saying single player was too difficult. I don't think it's too difficult, but I do think that in single player they need a slider that changes the tame time, because if you're playing single player, there's no reason why it should take like 4 hours to tame like a T-Rex, for example. Like, it's single player. In multiplayer it makes sense because it's a balancing mechanism, but in single player, meh. And unfortunately, the console commands they give you to speed that process along, they actually come with some nasty side effects, so you can't just like force tame the T-Rex, for example, after you knock it out, rightfully so. Because if you force tame it, there's a thing called force tame that you can put in the console, and it automatically tames any animal you aim it at. And if you do that, it has some side effects that are not quite so fun. So for example, you can ride the dinosaur without a saddle. There's a bunch of other random little things that the force tame command does. And so unfortunately, there's not really any way to work around that right now. I don't know if there's a difficulty slider for single play. I don't know if maybe that lowers it so that you could like log in, lower it, knock out a dinosaur, make it quick, and then go back or whatever. But either way, I really, really like this game. The only thing so far in single player that I dislike is the tame time. What we need to do today, we needed to make ourselves a refining forge, and that's going to cost us quite a few hides, a bit of flint, some stone, which I've already taken the time to farm up. It took a while to get that much stone, but luckily the raptors have really good backs on them, so meh, raptor got back. Bunk, 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 bunk. Don't. I would strongly recommend not singing that song around raptors. They have like this whole choreographed dance routine. It gets really, really rowdy. I don't know if you knew this, raptors cause a lot of collateral damage. They are capable of mass destruction of whatever object. I mean, this little area right here, this is like my little powwow area. They would annihilate it if they went into that dance routine. So just avoid the temptation for right now. I know you want to see it. Oh, you know, it's Big Boss Slasher. We got ourselves a new scorpion, too. I don't know if I did that during the last episode. I can't recall what I did in the last episode. I have bad memory. Really, really bad memory. More so, I started playing Arkham City. There's a couple of puzzles in that game that are related to memory, and I was like, wow, my memory is like really, really bad. I don't know if I'm deficient of vitamins or what's going on. They nerfed the ability to farm XP using gunpowder, so I can't do that anymore. However, it's really not that bad because it's still really, really easy to farm out the materials you need in order to make narcotics, and those are still worth a lot of XP. So I just farmed narcotics. We got like 30 of them right here, and that almost took me up an entire level, and it probably took me 5 minutes while watching Netflix to farm up enough narco berries. And then I just kept a lot of spoiled meat processing along the way. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it's not that bad. We need to make a forge, so let's figure that out. Are there any hides around here? Let's have a look. I don't think I have any hides. The reason being is because I actually wanted to put saddles on every single one of the raptors. Not because I wanted to ride them or subjugate them, but in fact, I wanted to put saddles on all of them because they give a passive 25 armor, which while that doesn't sound that important, it actually is. It's the equivalent of putting a leather shirt on one of your characters. If you're wondering why we have chitin armor, that also happened during the stream. I actually didn't put up the stream footage because we had a whole lot of like trolling and general discontent during the stream. And so if things get super rowdy with people just acting a fool sometimes we get like habitually trolled where like 5 or 6 people show up over the course of a stream and just like act really, really rowdy. And while the moderators do their best to like ban them and get rid of the people, it's just like sometimes they disturb the viewing experience. And so I tend to just be like, and not put it up on YouTube if that happens. Just because it's a little bit embarrassing to me, I guess. I don't know. I like to think that I can hold down my own backyard. Unfortunately, the internet has proved that not to be the case. Hubris, I suppose. Behavioral hubris. So anyways, as I was saying, we got chitin armor out of a blue drop that was right over here on top of this hill. A blue drop came really, really close to us. I went over there. We took care of it. I've been leveling the dinosaurs quite a bit in my free time. Hasn't been super successful, but I think we could take down just about everything at this point. I haven't tested the T-Rex just yet because my heart can't handle losing more dinosaurs. He'll be up in there with like some Celine Dion, like me, 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 me. I don't know. I can't do it right now. If I lose any more dinosaurs, I'm gonna cry. So what we need to do for right now, we need to farm out some hides. So let's go find some stuff to kill. The easiest way to do that is going to be on our back beach over here. That's right, our back bottom beach. That's the one that I always go to in order to take care of my business. So we'll run down the hill, probably kill off a couple of turtles, tends to be the best way to do this. I also need to go through all the raptors' inventories and make sure that they're not smuggling hides anywhere. There we go, gentlemen. Enjoy, and ladies. They should be able to handle that pretty quickly. With 4 raptors, we're able to kill really, really solid foes very, very quickly. I've noticed, have you noticed how much scorpions eat in this game? Oh my god, my scorpion eats a ridiculous amount of food. Like, seriously, he just ate, oh, we got a Spinosaurus over there. Okay. That is a concern. Ever since the game patched a day or two ago, it seems like there's very, very dangerous predators on this quadrant of the map, and one of the reasons I settled over here was because it was actually a safe zone that you could fall back to. Now that they've patched it, it's like nowhere is safe, and I don't have firearms or anything else. What I'm probably going to focus on, it's come to my attention that I won't have enough... Yikes, I don't want to fight with a Spinosaur today. Maybe we'll try and go back around this way. I think there's a couple more of them over here, though. Our island, as far as I can tell, I've cataloged a little bit. I think we have 3 Spinosaurs on our island. There's one over here. He's kind of new. He wandered in from down that way. He actually used to be out on that island over there. We've also got 2 off this way around the bend, just in case you wanted to get your Pocahontas on and be like, just around the river bend. It's a musical experience when you come to the Nerd Castle. That's what most people don't know about it. That's how I invite people, is that you're going to have a musical experience when you come here, because I love musicals. I don't care what anybody says about it being feminine or whatever else. Musicals are great. And, you know, I didn't grow up around musicals. I grew up in a very, like, old-fashioned Southern family. Like, I didn't even know what a musical was until I was, like, 16 or 17, and I actually started running across them. But I don't know. That's not to say. I'm just saying, let me clarify here, because I feel like I've stepped on a petard. Anyways, what I'm saying is that my family is old-fashioned, and they have old-fashioned sensibilities about masculinity. There we go. But I very much like musicals. I found them to be quite fun. I watch them whenever they go to theater, if I can help it, and honestly, I would love someday to actually swing through Broadway and catch a flick. I don't know, I enjoy them every now and again. It's not a flick. To go through Broadway every now and again and catch myself. I don't know, there's something about stage acting. Something about stage acting. I don't know what it is. It's like less refined, but at the same time, equally as entertaining as like film. Because film, you have all the editing. That's what I mean by less refined, is that film, you can actually get it down, and then you get to sit there for a long ass time and just make it look good with the footage you have available. With acting on stage, you don't have that. You got to get it right the first time, and you got to sell that thing, otherwise people are going to be like, oh, he's a bad actor, blah. You know, I guess going this way was probably the better plan. Actually, let me go through your inventories real fast, dinos. Let me see what you've got here. You've got 1 hide. What do you have? You have no hides. You have a keratin and a stimberry. Apparently that one likes the drugs. Gonna have to keep an eye on her just in case she gets out of control. Take her to dino rehab. I think we should be alright right here. I don't think we have any hides. My god. The amount of noise that occurs outside my house. I talk about this in the Escapist playthrough, but you may not have seen it yet because I don't know if that episode's come up. But if you by chance hear the screaming of little children through my microphone, it's not, I don't have kids locked up in my basement or anything like that. My house is like 2 feet from the community pool. Like seriously, I could put my arm, if I was holding like a generous stick, I could put it into the water from the window next to my bedroom. And so it's summer right now and all the kids are out of school. And unfortunately, this is something that I didn't think about when I decided to rent here. And so if you hear the screaming of little children in the background, just be aware, it's not my fault. I'm not some weird psycho killer. We should probably finish this fight a little bit quicker, just because there's so many nasty carnivores around. I decided I was going to leave this on film just because I enjoy the farming process. I count this as part of kind of like my leveling. And so we needed, what did we need for the forge? We needed how many hides? Like 20 something? We needed 65. Oh my god, we need a bunch of hides for this. This might be one of those things that's better done off camera. I would highly recommend, by the way, if you're into, we got a couple of parasaurs over here. A paraparasaurs, in fact. They're not a unisaur. We've got ourselves, how much stamina? Okay, I'm trying to decide if I can run these down right now. Raptors should be able to handle it no problem. I missed him. Unfortunately, I'm going to need an arrow to tag him for the raptors. Get off to the side. I'd like to take down bigger stuff, like the Phiomias. Anything that can drop a lot of hides. Additionally, it might be a better plan. A stegosaur would work. I didn't know that there were stegosaurs on my island. I should tame one of these. That would be a really good plan. I've heard the stegosaurs are fantastic for farming berries. Even better than the parasaurs. Are they mate boosted? They are. Okay, we're not going to mess with them if they're mate boosted. That's a little bit too much for me. Still, you're going to be a victim. Sorry, pal. It is what it is. I give you the little poker in your behind, and then it'll be over very, very soon. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. I think I can get more hides by using my hatchet, so I'm going to try and do that in just a minute. Why can I not repair this? I need flint and I need stone. Huh. Alright then. So apparently our torch needs a little bit of vitamin action going on before we can handle this. So instead, oh, we got like a little nature preserve up here. Okay. So let's get rid of this trike. Please don't, ow. While that trike is being dealt with, I'm going to jump off of here. Let's grab ourselves some flint very, very quickly. That should only take a moment. The raptors have been really, really good about harvesting lately. They added a new option. I don't know if you guys have seen this in the radial menu, but they added new options to where the victim item collection, that stops them from eating off the bodies. If you wanted to do that, they tend to do it on their own. I just leave it because it's a great way for me to actually, like, maintain meat on all of my random servants. And so if you can keep them fed, it tends to keep them very, very loyal. However, you can turn that off now if you want, if you wanted to harvest yourself, or if you're going after very, very specific things. We also need, in order to make this work, we needed some stone, but we got that. Let's go ahead and handle that right there. I need a little bit more stone. So instead, let's go after this like this. This hatchet is obviously going to break in just a moment. Its durability is far, far too low to be trusted. But it's easy to repair, so not a big deal. Yeah, should be nice and easy. We don't have the wood until I get it done, but that's all that I really wanted to do anyways. Let's go ahead and I need you to follow along very, very quickly. Please don't help with this. I need to get hides. And so let's go ahead and add as many of these as we can. Yeah, that's going to be the far more efficient. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you just have bad luck. Let me see if we can hunt down a few more dinos here. I think this trike over here is a good call. I do want to train a triceratops pretty soon. Go ahead and bag them and tag them real fast. They should be able to handle that really considerably with no problem. They should go down pretty quickly. Go ahead. You guys get on that one too. And if we could just wipe out this entire hillside's worth of biota, we should be fine. Assuming we don't fall off any cliffs or anything like that. Occasionally they accidentally fall off a cliff and it's a little bit embarrassing. I'm going to try and recover my arrows. I found that the best way to recover your arrows, weirdly enough, just a little bit of a tip for people here, is to aim at them if you're like next to them. And of course it's not going to work right now, but sometimes it does. Like for example, if there was an arrow in this thigh and he wasn't picking it up by walking across it, I found that if you aim at it, they loot it for some reason. I don't know. It's weird like that. Let's get as many hides as we can off these bodies. So we only got 8 from right there. Unfortunate. Looking for something a little bit heavier. Come on. 9's pretty good. It's better than 8 on the last one. So, you know. I'm like, well, did you get enough hides? You'd be like, no, I just ate. I don't know. If there were dinosaurs having a discussion about whether or not they wanted to eat the hides. There we go. I like how they come off of here fully tanned. My dad was actually a taxidermist for a little bit. He played around with it. And it takes a long-ass time to cure a hide. It also smells really bad. We've got 54 hides. We're getting there. I think we needed 65, so one more animal should have to sacrifice its life in order for us to make a refining forge in this episode. We also need 20 wood. I've got the stone back at base already. I think for now, somebody had mentioned that I'm not going to have enough points to get all the engrams. I'm actually, once we hit max level or whatever, I'm going to try and use the console to fix that. I might be able to with the console commands. Don't push him off the cliff. There we go. Good job, buddy. Good job. It's unfortunate that all these have to die just for me to grab the things that I need, but unfortunately, I wish that when you got done harvesting the corpse, it gave you back all your arrows, too. I would actually install that in there instead of having to walk by. I get for realism purposes and immersion why they want you to pull them out of the body, but either allow us to aim at it and hit the E key to get them out, or even easier, since I tend to rush into harvesting, just, you know, get the arrows back as soon as we get done harvesting when the body despawns like that. Like, bam, oh, we've got a Carnotaur over here, a white one. Huh. A white Carnotaur. Cool. I kind of want him. That's a badass Carnotaur. It's a little bit like it'll take so long, though. Like, that's the big thing with, like, the larger animals. It just takes so long to tame them. So that's always what turns me off about it, is because I'm basically guaranteeing that I have to sit there for an hour and a half watching Netflix and shoveling narcotics into a dinosaur. I actually think the training system should be a little bit more interactive. It should be a little bit more entertaining. Like, for example, I would love it if actually they tamed instantly, but they had chances to not obey your command that were very, like, an 80% chance to ignore you after you tamed them, and then you would have to make a taming pen using some kind of, like, early technology or something like that, and then using the taming pen you could go all in, and you could start to reduce that number by doing various, not like, well, maybe like mini games or something. I don't know. I like the Pokemon, like the Pokemon training games that they have at some of the newer ones. Little things like that, like not necessarily firing, you know, beach balls at targets and things like that, but like just random. I'm sure the developers could come up with something fun to do with it. I'd like to do it, and then you wouldn't be able to defend yourself while doing those, so that would be another reason you would need friends to help you out with it in online, so it should self-balance, I think. I just think it should be a tiny bit more interactive training dinosaurs, because as of right now, that's one of the minor things that I find to just be a little bit humdrum, is where you knock out a dinosaur, but then it takes upwards of like 4 hours of just sitting there, and that's all you're doing. You're just sitting there. I mean, I guess you can check back in on it if you want, but there's really no reason. I check in, I don't know. I tend to do with bigger dinosaurs. I knock them out and I just check in like every 10 minutes while I watch a movie or something like that. But still, is that like the way that you want people to play your game? Do you want them to be like zoning out and not playing your game while playing your game? And so that right there, sort of as a gamer and as somebody who reviews games, I love this game. I think this game is absolutely fantastic. But I do like throwing out, not like, I don't want to say it's a critique, it's just a suggestion, because the game's obviously in early access. I'd like to see a little bit more interactivity in the training process. That Carnotaur, I may just go for it. We don't have any prime meat, though. That's the part that I'm worried about. In fact, I don't even know if we have any. Oh, we have a bunch of meat, so we should be alright. We don't have any prime meat, but I kind of want him. Let's make a few more knockout arrows. I don't know how many of these I'm going to need, by the way, but I made a bunch of narcotics just in case. This could get dangerous. And so the way that I would suggest that we handle this particular issue, let me drag and drop these over to here. I'm going to leave them all over here. So all of you stay on this side. If I die, I die. But I don't want you jumping in and killing this thing, because it's actually the closest Carnotaur I've ever seen to our base. Where'd he run off to? I'd prefer to do it from a mountaintop. Or at least a rock outcrop. So we got a Dilo over there. Can I get onto... I know he's on the other side of this rock. I just know I'm going to go... Yep, he's going to be like right there when I go around the side. Wonder how many arrows it takes to knock him the hell out. Probably too many. Too many to feel safe anyways. Oh, shit. I think we made a friend. He wants our life to end. He's gonna bite me in my stupid face because I'm bad at hunting. Oh my god, we knocked it out. That was so close. That was so close. I mean, it's only level 3, so we should be able to pull this off, right? I don't know. Feed it some meat or whatever. I'll throw some narcotics on there because I prepared a lot of them already. How do I repair that? It requires chitin. Oh, it can only be repaired at the smithy. Okay, so it looks like I'll be adventuring in the nude for a little while. Let me go back and get my crew real fast. Hopefully he stays knocked out. This isn't like one of those things that I really... The last time I tried to train one of these, it took forever. And then I sort of got sidelined by the fact that I logged off, I went and I ate dinner, and I came back, and the game bugged out and despawned him or something like that. And so, like, I'm terrified to actually leave the game while doing a training. I think that it's because it has to repopulate the dinosaurs. I think dinosaur positions are not saved in any of the config files that it checks. There we go. We'll kill off these delos so we don't have to deal with them. I know you can cancel out the bow strokes. Yeah, it looks like it's going to take a while. And we got a lot of meat on him already, so should be good, right? I mean, 48 meat? If it takes less than, I mean, if it takes more than 48 meat, I'd be very, very surprised. Then again, I don't know everything about this game, so I could be surprised by this whole thing. Let's go ahead and grab some meat off of there, a little bit more off this Dilophodon as well. Alright, get a couple of arrows back. I'm going to leave him laying right there. I'm going to go get our crew. Nasty crew, assemble! Sometimes you just need the nasty crew to come along. I was going to get like a bullhorn or something like that, but I don't know. Just calling them and making it sort of like a Super Friends Justice League type thing seems like it would work better. Let's go ahead and kill this Parasaur too, because why not? He looks like a dick. The worst Parasaur ever. He's probably a member of the central banking establishment of dinosaurs. Harvest that up real fast because this dude is always hungry. Oh, for once he's not. See, he's trying to make me look bad right now. I've noticed that, like, when you have to get all of your stamina back on a scorpion, it takes forever, and it uses up a huge, like a seriously big-ass chunk He hasn't even eaten once yet. Actually, that filled up more than I expected it to. That filled up way more than I expected it to. Torpor is a little bit low on this dino. Narcotics are knocking him down by 5% too. Which makes me think that it may be wiser. Makes me think that it might be wiser to bring back the Parasaur. Use the Parasaur to graze for narco berries. Because narco berries don't lower the taming effectiveness. Was it at 70.5 or was it at 75.0 the last time? I'm mildly dyslexic, so I see numbers wrong all the time. And I wasn't paying attention. I know I'm asking you that like you're going to be able to tell me, but... Oh, that bothers me. I wish I had gotten a better view of it. Okay, well, bringing back the Parasaur to get narco berries might be the best plan. It'll also save us a little bit of time because we have the things we need in order to make the forge. So, where are we at right now with respect to our home? We're not that far. I am a little bit worried I won't be able to find my way back over here. Let's go back over here very, very quickly. I'm going to eyeball what I can. And I think if I go back this way, that damn glare coming off my map. I don't know what my map's made out of, but apparently it's made out of aluminum foil. That's all that I can tell so far. Oh, look, me. I'm over there. I am a rock. I am an island. Have I ever said that I love Simon and Garfunkel? Has that ever been a conversational topic that I've brought up? Like, seriously, for real. Simon and Garfunkel are among my favorites. I like them a lot. So we got Pulmonoscorpiated. I'll throw this over here. Ooh, some freebie chitin. Not much, though. You know, I think I'm going to play around with it in between episodes. It's unfortunate. I don't like to leave the taming on camera because it's boring. I will see you guys in a couple of hours, I guess. I'm just going to leave it running and we'll see what we can get done here. Bye, everybody. This is Ark Survival Evolved. If you haven't already, we're on episode like 500. So, but if you haven't gotten to it just yet, I figure you would have already. But information's down below if you wanted to buy the game and jump on in. Hi, do, everybody. I'll see you next time.